For Pacifica Radio, I'm Scott Baba. Israel's military said it carried out airstrikes today, targeting the areas around Kermanshah and Tabriz in western Iran. The Israeli military said 25 fighter jets struck missile storage and launch infrastructure components this morning. Diplomatic efforts continue as Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi is believed to be airborne on the way to the first face-to-face negotiations he has conducted since the Israeli airstrikes began June 13th. He is scheduled to meet with European diplomats in Geneva today. Washington-based group human rights activists say a week of Israeli strikes on Iran have killed at least 657 people and wounded over 2,000 others. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump has been weighing whether to attack Iran by striking a uranium enrichment facility so deeply buried it is considered safe from all but America's bunker buster bombs. Edwin J. Vieira has more.
Although Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the Pentagon has military options ready for use against Iran, the White House says President Donald Trump will decide whether to use them within 2 weeks.
They had an opportunity to make a deal. They should have made a deal. President Trump's word means something. The world understands that. And at the Defense Department, our job is to stand ready and prepared with options, and that's precisely what we're doing.
Iran and Israel are still exchanging missiles, and Israel's defense minister says Iran's supreme leader, quote, should not continue to exist. Israel lacks the bunker buster bombs that might be able to reach Iran's underground nuclear facilities, but military observers say making sure those facilities are destroyed might still require on-the-ground troops. In his first term, Trump pulled out of the multilateral disarmament deal reached under President Barack Obama. Intelligence officials now disagree on how close Iran may be to getting nuclear weapons. Hegseth blames Joe Biden's administration for not reining in Iran's nuclear program. I'm Edwin J. Vieira for Pacifica Network and Public News Service.
Authorities in southern Mexico are still assessing damage and watching rising rivers as rain from the remnants of Hurricane Eric doused the region. Karen Chemes reports.
Authorities reported landslides, blocked highways, downed power lines and some flooding. At least one death was confirmed late Thursday, a 1-year-old boy who drowned in a swollen river. Acapulco residents and remaining tourists emerged to walk outside or visit the few open businesses as the remnants of Hurricane Eric scraped by just inland of the resort. Local fisherwoman Ana Luisa Granados told the AP that local fishermen were checking boats for damage. The threat of heavy rain remained in the mountains that rise abruptly behind Acapulco's famed beaches. Hurricane Eric spent the day dragging through the coastal mountain range, dropping torrential quantities of rain. I'm Karen Shamas.
Canadian Prime Minister Mike Carney said yesterday that Canada will impose new tariffs on U.S. steel and aluminum imports starting July 21st if trade talks with President Donald Trump fail to make progress. Following a meeting at the G7 summit, Carney said both countries agreed to try and reach a deal within 30 days, but noted Canada will still respond to U.S. measures.
President Trump and I agreed to pursue negotiations towards a deal within the coming 30 days. We'll continue these negotiations, of course, in good faith. In parallel, we must reinforce our strength at home and safeguard Canadian workers and businesses from the unjust U.S. tariffs that exist at present.
Trump has imposed tariffs on Canada of up to 50% on steel and aluminum and 25% on autos, while maintaining a 10% general import tax. Canada remains the largest foreign supplier of steel and aluminum to the United States, and Carney said free trade, particularly in metals and autos, is key to stabilizing the relationship. A federal appeals court ruled yesterday to allow former President Donald Trump to retain control of the California National Guard, siding with his administration in a legal battle with Governor Gavin Newsom over troop deployment to Los Angeles during recent immigration-related protests. Trump argued the troops were necessary to restore order, but Newsom said the move inflamed tensions and usurped local authority. The Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that Trump acted within his authority when he federalized the Guard, citing violent incidents involving protesters and federal officers. While the court rejected Trump's argument that his deployment was immune from judicial review, it found the administration had a legitimate federal interest in protecting personnel and property. The deployment was the first by a president of a state National Guard without the governor's permission since 1965, and the court case could have wider implications on the president's power to deploy soldiers within the United States. The decision temporarily blocks the lower court ruling that favored Newsom, who called the deployment illegal and unnecessary, and means control of the California National Guard will stay in federal hands as the lawsuit continues to unfold. I'm Scott Baba for Pacifica Radio.